Hey everyone, welcome. In this video, we are going to review the IXL assignment Y6, graph a line from an equation in slope-intercept form. All right, let's not delay, let's just get started. All right, so we want to graph this line using slope and y-intercept because there are multiple different methods you can use to graph a line, but this assignment focuses on using the slope and the y-intercept. And also for this assignment, all of your equations are already going to be put in slope-intercept form for you, which, let's review what that is. Slope-intercept form is when your equation is in the format y equals mx plus b. Now, when you have this equation, your m and your b are actually numbers. What does your m represent? Your m is your slope. What does the b stand for? Hopefully you said your y-intercept. And that's why this equation is called slope-intercept form, because just by looking at the equation, you can identify that what your slope is and what the y-intercept is. And that will allow us to get 2 points and make a line. Let's look at the equation they gave us and pick apart that information. The first thing I want to identify is the y-intercept, because that b stands for beginning. It's where your graph begins. It's where you need to begin in order to graph it. Our equation, and I'm going to write it directly above our formula so we can see things line up. Y equals 1 over 5 x plus 6. When we write it like that, we can see that our 6 lines up with the b. Therefore, our b, our y-intercept for this problem, is 6. And that is a point. As an ordered pair, that would be 0, 6. Because for something to be a y-intercept, that means it intercepts, it crosses the y-axis. In order for it to cross the y-axis, it can't go anywhere on the x. Here we have our graph and the y-axis, so we're going to put a point at 6. Now, in order to make any line, we need 2 points. Now, the second point isn't given, but what we are given is the slope, which is our m. M stands for movement. So our slope is a movement that will allow us to get a second point. What is our slope in this case? Well, if we look up at our equation, let's see what lines up. Our 1/5 lines up with the m. The 1/5 is the coefficient, so the number in front of your x, which means that is our slope. Now, whenever we deal with slope, it is how much we change in our y over how much we change in our x. Another way of saying that is it's how much we rise over how much we run. So the numerator, 1, is how much our y changes, how much we rise. The denominator, our 5, let's make that blue now, is how much our x changes, how much we run. So we're going to start from our y-intercept and go with that movement, and that will allow us to create a second point. All right, I am going to rise up 1 space and run 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And right there is where I can create a second point. Now let me switch and do this on IXL, because once I do, it's automatically going to draw the line for us. So I'm going to click and put my first point at 6 and my second point here, and ta-da, we have our line. All right, let's hit submit and see if it's right. It is, yay. All right, let's try another one. And we're actually going to jump up a level. Actually, never mind, I want to go back. I like this one better. All right, once again, we're going to graph using the same method. Remember, our equation is y equals m, which is our slope, x plus b, which is our y-intercept. And if we write the equation they gave us directly underneath it, that'll help us see better what our slope and y-intercept are. Y equals 6x plus 4. We want to start with our b, the beginning, which is our y-intercept. So what is our y-intercept? Yeah, it's 4. B and 4 line up. Oops, wrong color. Let's fix that. So our b is 4. So we can graph that y-intercept. So it's 4 on the y-axis. So here's our y-axis. Here's the point 4. There you go, halfway done. All right, how about our slope? Because we need a second point, so we need to figure out how much it's moving. Our slope is 6. I'm struggling with my colors today. Sorry, guys. Now, we had said on that last question that our slope was rise over run. What do we do if we are given a slope that's not a fraction? Well, we need to rewrite it as a fraction. When you're graphing and when you're dealing with slopes, that's the one time that fractions are your friend. You want fractions, and if you don't have fractions, you make them. How can we rewrite 6 as a fraction? We can rewrite it by putting it over 1. Because fractions, remember, that's another way of writing division. So if we take a number and we divide it by 1, does it change at all? So as an example, what's 6 divided by 1? Well, it's still 6. So that is how we can rewrite our number as a fraction. So we have a good slope, but we're not changing its value. We're not making up something new. All right, let's do our movement. Remember, for our slope, because it's not an ordered pair, it's not a point, we don't go back and start at 0. It's a movement, so we start at our y-intercept. Our y-intercept was 4, so we're going to rise 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and run 1 space. All right, let's graph this on IXL now. Y-intercept of 4, we did our slope, which is our movement, up 6 over 1. We got our line. Let's see what we got. Very good. All right, guys, let's do one more together. Oh, this is a good one. All right, so this is a good one because on IXL, once you get about halfway through, you're going to get a 4-quadrant graph because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants. The only thing that's different is you're now going to have negative numbers. But as you can see, it's all labeled on the graph. So our steps aren't going to change. We just have a bigger graph to deal with. All right, slope-intercept form, remember, is y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. If we're still a little unsure of what the m and the b are, you can always take your equation and write it directly underneath the formula to see how things line up. Well, let's get started here and then we can see what my is about. The first thing we need to do is start with our b. Our b is the beginning, and it also is our y-intercept. Well, I don't see anything there. So what value represents nothing? Because nothing's there, so what value is nothing? Hopefully you were thinking 0. Because we could rewrite this as a plus 0, but mathematicians don't really do that. Remember, mathematicians are lazy, so if they don't have to write something, they won't. So if the y-intercept is 0, they're not going to put plus 0. They're just going to leave it blank. So our y-intercept, nothing was there, and the value that represents nothing is 0. The y-intercept is 0. All right, so we're graphing that. Now we need our slope so we can get our second point. Our slope is our m, so that coefficient, the number in front of our x. In this case, our slope is -5/4, which is our rise. So how much our y changes, because you're rising up and down, over run, how much your x changes left and right. Okay. Now, this time our rise is a -5, which means we're not really rising because we're technically going down because it's negative. So those negative numbers, that negative tells me that you need to go down. So from our green point, we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, and then run 4, and the 4 is positive, so we're going to move to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right there is going to be your ordered pair. All right, let's see if we're correct. Y-intercept, slope, and it's perfect. All right, so I hope that this helped clear up a few of your guys' questions on how to graph a line in Slope-Intercept form. If not, feel free to send me an email or, of course, come to the Class Connect sessions and I'll be happy to help you out. Bye, guys.